Alright friends, it's your friendly neighborhood genetic beast, and I'm gonna do a reaction video to guess who? None other than the bumbleclot himself. It's JasonBlaha. Just popped this up 9 minutes ago. I didn't even know I was just making a video, uploading it, and bam, this just popped up. So I figured, you know what, I'm gonna have to do another reaction video to this beautiful video that Blaha has posted himself. The gym lifting, recruiting, gear, fitness slave himself. Yes. So let's see what Blaha has to say, the Bati boy himself. So Bati boy Blaha says, does lifting burn more fat than cardio? Well, let's find out. Does it?
Weight loss better than cardio for losing body fat. Hey everybody, I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today.
Hey,
you know, this is going to be one of those topics that, as I've been looking at newer data, it's really fascinating to me, particularly for me as someone who used to be well over 300 pounds when younger.
I will have to say that I think lifting, I don't know about lifting, but yeah, I mean, could you spot reduce fat by doing certain areas, moving certain things, moving certain body parts? I believe so. Yeah, again, it's a belief, but yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, you'd have to try it out and find out, and then on your experience would tell you, well, yes or no, right? So do you burn more fat lifting weights than doing cardio? Well, here's the thing. I mean, if you're starving and you're actually doing cardio or lifting weights, then yeah, you're gonna lose weight, a lot of weight, starving. But the purpose of losing body fat but retaining, keeping muscle is being in a positive nitrogen balance. That's the whole idea. It's not being in a calorie deficit. You want to be in a positive nitrogen balance. I think people don't, like I said, there's so many people out there, they have no clue what bodybuilding or lifting is at all whatsoever. They have no clue. Everything they do is upside down. They think that going to a failure is going to magically bypass MND size limit. They think that, well, if I do a calorie deficit on an artificial fake diet, carbohydrate diet, that is going to, like, I starve myself, I'm going to lose, you know, weight. Meanwhile, you're losing muscle too. You're losing mass. I mean, you're not going to lose your fibers, most likely. I don't know. There could be an apoptosis. If you damage them, you can lose muscle fibers. Look, if you damage fibers and protein synthesis doesn't exceed this breakdown for regeneration, you can actually lose muscle fibers. That can be a very bad thing. I can't explain it, but it can be very bad if you damage muscles and you don't grow them and they die, and you exercise them to death where they die in an exercise or whatever, and they're going through a necrosis. Well, that could be a bad thing. You could be shortening your lifespan. I don't know. You're losing muscle fibers. They'll die. It's hard to recover them. Almost astronomically impossible, but whatever. Okay.
I will straight up tell people I originally did use cardio to lose the weight. I'm 47 now.
You don't need to use, as far as I know, you don't need to use cardio to lose weight. I mean, hell, I've lost weight I actually ate myself skinny. I ate, and it's not in a deficit, I ate lots of seafood and meat, and I got lean, super lean. Did I lose any muscle? Absolutely not. Why would I lose any muscle? Why would you lose any muscle? You guys haven't even built any muscle. What muscle is there to lose? You're not going to lose your original muscle you were born with. That will be carried throughout your whole lifetime. Yeah. Look at Blaha. It looks like an ordinary guy. He's just a lifting slave in the garage. Look at him. He doesn't look like anything extraordinary or massive or huge. He's not building any muscle because muscle has a domain limit.
And I did that, oh gosh, you know, around age 20-ish.
My gosh. Look, I'll prove it in this video really quick, okay? Again, you may not understand this, but whatever.
According to Singapore Medical Journal, we also proposed an MND ceiling size of approximately 31,000 cubed, which reflects the maximal transcriptional capacity of myonuclei. On the other hand, the type 1 fibers showed a greater reserve for synthetic capacity in hypertrophy.
Yeah, well, I'm not doubting that. But here's the thing. They also proposed, and they not only there's a ceiling limit during hypertrophic process, but they also propose an MND ceiling size of what? 31,000, which is this beyond where the satellite cell can donate any more extra nuclei to that domain in an adaptation. Now, is he getting any adaptations that's per adaptation, okay? That's the donation that it gives. So they're telling you the size, that ceiling size of 31,000, yeah, which reflects the maximal transcription capacity of myonuclei. That is its capacity. Reaches that ceiling limit. So what do you need now? You need more nuclei to do what? To support further muscle growth. And it can only happen in an adaptation. An adaptation means the protective effect. Now, to get over to you need to bypass the first adaptation that you just got. Remember, has repaired and remodeled itself stronger, so it's resilient from further assaults. So what do you need to do exactly? What do you need to do there exactly? See what I mean? What do you need to do to get over MND size limit? Well, you need an adaptation. Okay, you need an adaptation. But what do you need to do to get over it? What will cause this damage? You understand? What will temporarily weaken that wall so that you can get over the hurdle of that wall, so that you can get the other fibers damaged, so that you can eke out an adaptation? Well, I've mentioned it in my videos. If you weren't listening, then too bad. I don't know.
Something like that, right? I took up distance running, and I used that to get all the way down to like 170 from at least 300.
He really is just throwing the weight up in the air. It's really concentric. He's just throwing it up, like throwing it in the air, like throwing it. I've seen people do this. They love throwing weights around. There's nothing wrong with that. If you like throwing weights around, okay. You know, you have to really concentrate. If you really are interested in the eccentric portion, you have to concentrate. But it's protected. The muscle is protected from any damage that is being caused by the eccentric exercise. So it's being protected. There's no damage, and if there's no damage, there's nothing to grow. If there's no damage, there's nothing to grow. It's really simple.
And I really didn't even track it at the time because I didn't really want to know what I weighed.
Okay.
Like I was ashamed of it at the time. So it's something I did way back then, and then of course
he was ashamed if he didn't want to track how much he weighed. Why? Because he got fat.
Later in life, I found it much easier. I spent a year in bed sick around age 30 or so.
It's like all these lifters like him. I have a short of him. He's really fat, doing like trying to come off as if he's a big dude or something. He's a big muscular dude when he was just a big fat guy. And then here's what happened. So he lost all that fat that he gained, pretending it was muscle. And now look what he's doing. Oh, I want a dad bod to daddy bod, and he's going to train people, this, that. Well, where's his muscle? He never had any. He just got fat. Like every other lifter out there, they all get bulk and get fat, and then they pretend they have muscles. They're just fat. They're just fat. A lot of people are fat.
Learn to walk.
This MLB season, FanDuel is taking you out to every ball.
100, but I had also at that point.
Did he just say he blew up, or whatever, up to 300? 300. Jesus. Let's see. What does he weigh right now? He's under 100 and something pounds. He's a liar when he says he's 200 pounds or 215 or 212 or whatever. He's not 200. He's under 200. He's short. He's under 200 pounds, Blaha. I don't know what he is. 280, maybe 270. Who the hell knows? Maybe 280. All right. And then he blew up to 300. so he could pretend that he has muscles. That's just crazy. Whatever.
I was a 220-pound lifter when I got sick, so it was a much different body composition than when I was younger. And I lost it much easier later because I had more muscle and lifted weights and other stuff. But I did do a lot of...
He had more muscle? Where's his muscle? At least if you have some muscle, let's say you built a lot of muscle, but then some muscle goes away. Maybe some of the sarcoplasm goes away, some of the stuff. There still has to be something there that you built, that if you actually built something. See what I mean? But you don't build muscles, your body does. But you have to be the catalyst to create something so that there's something to build. And if there's no damage, there's nothing to build, okay?
Walking, right? You know, again, as I was rebuilding, I did a lot of walking. Now, that being said, I've always had an interest in that because I did originally use cardio to lose the weight, and I've tried to keep up with all the research, and I've told people, look, it's not a bad idea to do.
Here we go with keeping up with the research. So he did a lot of cardio to lose that weight. Why didn't he just eat natural food and his body would have returned to homeostasis? Anybody can do that. Eat your natural, you as a human, eat your natural diet as a human. If you eat your natural diet, your body will go back to homeostasis, back to normal. But if you eat an artificial diet, what did you expect, right? You created that yourself. You are you are what you think of. You become that what you think about. If all you think about is eating fucking artificial food, you become that what you think about. Fat and artificial. You become artificial. You create this artificial body and whatever, eating artificial food. Now, if all you think about is damaging muscle fibers and doing specific things and eating natural food and really building your body, envisioning it, then you will become that, what you think about. If you think about damaging muscle fibers and working towards that goal to build your body, to get more nuclei, it'll happen because you think about that all day long. If all you think about is being a cop, you will be a police officer, a cop. If all you think about is being a judge or a teacher or whatever, you will become that what you think about. Think about that for a second. Ponder that thought. You become that what you think about. People become what they think about. These murderers, they think about murder. They become that what they think about, a murderer. Or a bank robber, he thinks about robbing a bank. He becomes that what he thinks about. You become that what you think about. If you think about being ruthless or whatever, being evil, then you become that. You become what you think about.
Lifting and cardio for health purposes, and I've always said cardio is not necessarily that great of a weight loss tool. It lets you...
Blaha thinks about being a lifting slave here in this gym, and he's become that what he thinks about. Lifting slave. Yeah.
Eat more. It's not necessary. In fact, I've gone so far as to say that a morbidly obese person, exercise is useful for losing weight, but it is absolutely not required.
No, it's not. It's not useful. It's not anything. And then he admits it's not required. Well, what is required? Starving yourself, Blaha?
Right? It is absolutely not required. Someone who is extremely obese can lose 100 pounds without exercising. It's just...
They can lose it without exercising. Of course they can. If they stop eating fake food. Yeah.
A lot harder. It's way harder, but it is not impossible.
It is not impossible to cure yourself of metabolic disturbances, diseases, and all that. It's not impossible to create good health and all that. You know how? By eating your natural diet. See what I mean? It is not impossible to get sick and get cancer and get disease and become a diabetic. It's not impossible. You become that what you think about all day. If all you think about is drinking Coca-Colas and eating sweet stuff all day and carbohydrates and everything, you become that what you think about. See that? If you're smoking cigarettes and you know they give you cancer, you become that what you think about, cancer. You become what you think about. It's really simple in this world. You become that what you think about. If all you think about is potato chips and a chocolate bar, you become that. You go out and then you buy those chips and then you eat them and then you regret it later. You go, shit, I ruined it. I should have stayed on my natural diet. because all you could think about was the potato chips. You become that what you think about. If all you think about is eating the best food like me, meat and seafood, raw beef, raw seafood, raw eggs, whatever, if all is that what you become, that what you think about. See what I mean? See how I explained to you? If you think about curing yourself, becoming a better version of yourself, like, you know, a natural human being, if that's all you think about, then that's what you become. But if you think all you think about is lifting a heavy weight in the gym and eating Cocoa Puffs and crap all day, then you become that what you think about, a gym lifting slave. A fake diet lifting gym slave. Yeah, dude. Get it?
It's going to feel like it, though.
Look, want to get rich, want to make money? Well, there's these people on the internet, right? I know some people on the internet, like Ecom King. All he thinks about is Shopify and Amazon accounts and selling products on Shopify and Amazon. And then he shows you the money that he's making there and how much other people could be making and whatever. Because that's all he thinks about all day long. He becomes that what he thinks about. Blaha has become that what he thinks about. A gym lifting slave in the garage. Yes.
Being said, you know, when we look at the data, I saw...
And making 1 million videos a day. He's become a slave to making these videos. Like, he pumps out 4 or 5 videos. Fuck, he puts them out all night long. Practically like 6 videos daily and nightly, all night, all day. Like 9 minutes ago. You know what time it is where I am? It's like 3 or 4 in the morning. And he pumped out another video, it says 9 minutes ago. That's why I'm doing this video. It's crazy. He's like uploading all day, all night. He's in Texas, okay? I'm in Ontario. So the time zone is not that far off from where he is. So does he even sleep? Because he uploaded this video at around 3, I think it was 3:49 a.m. in the morning.
Some stuff a while back, and I thought that was interesting, and I'm like, we've got studies now showing that, of course, lifting gives better body composition. This isn't in question. But in terms of actual fat loss,
lifting gives better body composition? It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't do anything. It pumps your muscles with glycogen. So if you have low body fat, and you pump your muscles with glycogen, then they'll be protruding. It'll give you a cosmetic look. Cosmetic. That's what people are looking at. That's what Blaha is selling. Blaha is selling you dad bod to daddy bod. That's cosmetic. Think about it. If all he thinks about is coaching you now, like dad bod to daddy bod in bodybuilding, that's what he's become. He's become that what he thinks about, bodybuilding. He's become that. See that? It's really simple.
We had some studies kind of coming out showing, and I mentioned that recently. Oh, yeah. You know, there were studies showing that literally lifting weights was causing, you know, spending the same number of minutes like at the gym.
Yeah.
Obviously not even counting your rest times and all that between sets. Just your gym time lifting. You know, if you spend an hour in the weight room compared to an hour of doing, you know, stationary cardio.
Sure.
They were pretty much equal in terms of fat loss. But what we saw was the much better body composition. In other words, cardio doesn't make you gain muscle. And in fact, a lot of studies in the past have
cardio doesn't make you gain muscle? How would a cardio make you gain muscle?
Shown that when people lose weight without doing resistance training or eating a high protein diet, it's very common for 25%.
Yeah, they just starve themselves skinny. Yes, of course, Blaha.
Percent of the weight they lose to be lean mass, muscle. So in other words, if you lose 40 pounds, at least 10 of it tended to be muscle on average.
Well, I wouldn't doubt that. If you're like a 400-pound man, it's weight bearing on your body, so it's forced to grow. Yeah, it'll have to. The satellite cell will have to be forced to add some nuclei to support growth there, because you wouldn't be able to walk around to carry an extra. Let's say you're a 200-pound man, but you're 400 pounds. Well, you have to carry 200 pounds of fat or whatever. I don't know, maybe let's say 150 pounds of fat or whatever, maybe, I don't know, 160, 70. Well, your body will donate some, and the muscles will grow. Maybe not much, like 20 pounds, maybe 20, 30 pounds to support whatever weight there it needs to support. But eventually you'll lose that fat, and if you lose that fat, that muscle's gonna go too, dude. Like, it's gonna go.
Okay, when we're lifting weights and increasing protein and all that stuff, guess what? Guess what happens? Sometimes 100% of it is fat loss. Like, we don't lose any muscle, right? So that's always been the argument. And then the other argument, what if you gain muscle? Well, man, that's a big game changer, because if you look at it this way.
Here's the main reason why you're...
Man, that's a big game changer, because if you look at it this way, if you lose 20 pounds.
Yeah, you want to get fat so you could gain like 10 pounds of muscle. Okay, really great. And then you have to get lean again just so you could see some of it. Okay.
And 5 of it was muscle. You only lost 15 pounds of fat. If you lose 20 pounds, but you keep all the muscle, you lost 20 pounds of fat. What if you gained 5 pounds of muscle? That meant you lost 25 pounds of fat. All right, that's
He's making this stuff up. I love this.
a big deal. That meant even all 3 of those, even if the weight loss is the same, the fat loss could be up to 10 pounds difference with the same amount of weight lost.
Good.
That's kind of an important deal. That's one reason people have said the nonsense like, well, don't worry about the scale, worry about how you... Okay, fine, but you still have to lose weight if you're overweight. Okay? Because you're not gaining 50 pounds of muscle. All right, that's a delusion that people have, that someone who's overweight, oh, they're going to recomposition 50 pounds. It is biologically impossible, not going to happen. Okay, people don't understand how hard it is to gain 50 pounds of muscle in your lifetime. In fact, if you're not over 6 foot tall.
Can you imagine this? I love this guy. Whoa, it's 50 pounds of muscle in their lifetime. They're going to gain 50 pounds of muscle. Man. 50 pounds of muscle. Nobody's getting any muscle because they reached a nuclear domain limit. They don't understand how to get over it.
Or using magical supplements, aka anabolics.
Yeah, they don't get over MND size limit, but they do get over. Steroids don't donate their nuclei because steroids don't have nuclei. The satellite cell does. But they can get you, should I say, they can get you an adaptation because you can lift exorbitantly heavy. So it depends. And then it will, how should I put it? It'll help increase the number of nuclei because you're taking a steroid, so it enhances the nuclei or the satellite cell to get it to donate more nuclei in that one session. So yeah, whatever, something like that.
You're not going to do it in your entire life. You could dedicate your...
But it's not a lot. It's not a lot. It's just a little bit. I mean, listen, when they go off the steroids, they shrink. They get really, really, really small. But as they're getting small coming off the steroids, the nuclei that they did get from all those lifts or whatever they were doing there, they're gonna go away because they were artificially induced. They weren't naturally induced. So they're not maintainable. They'll go away. That's why they get really small, these people, on steroids. If steroids could only build a muscle, they wouldn't be amazing. You just take some and bam. You'd just build some muscle and then you wouldn't have to do it anymore. It's too bad.
Whole life to trying to do it day in and day out for 20 years straight and not reach that goal. And I'm talking bulking and everything. Right, doing really high protein diets for 20 years straight and lifting and trying to gain weight. It's 50 pounds of muscles a ton. It's a lot.
Yeah, you can eat protein forever and nothing happening, nothing going on there. And then you're wondering why I spent 20-something years, 30 years as a lifting slave trying to chase something elusive. And all I had to do was do what? I also had to know was untrained, unaccustomed, unfamiliar forms causes this damage. Oh my God, you mean I wasted 30, 40 years of my life and I had no clue? Oh, okay.
So that's nonsense. All right. But we've got all these studies kind of showing, yeah, the body composition is way better. The fat loss seemed to be equal. But then I saw one, and I don't even have it handy. I saw it on Menno Henselman's page, like on social media, like on Facebook. And he had linked a recent study with women to where when they took some obese women and they had them only do cardio versus only weightlifting. And in that particular study, the women who lifted weights lost more fat. Like, not only did they gain more muscle, not only did they see improved body composition, we've always known that. Body fat percentage will always be better. Body composition always improves. But it's always, with some of the studies, used to be, well, you'll lose more fat with cardio. Well, then the studies are showing equal. But then he's got this one that he pulled up to where they literally lost more fat.
All right.
Okay? That's a big deal. And it makes sense because we're burning through more calories. Gaining muscle speeds up your metabolic rate. So we deal with the epoch from the lifting.
Building more muscle speeds up your metabolic rate. And what is high metabolic rates associated with? Shortgevity. You die. Smaller animals, they have high metabolic rates. That's why their lifespan is very short. What's the lifespan of a fly? What, 2 days, 3 days, or something, 4 days? I don't know, a couple days. And then they die. Why is that? Because they have an astronomically high metabolic rate. Mice, how long do mice live? Not very long. Why is that? They have an astronomically high rate. It's a metabolic rate. That's why these marsupials and things and all that, they have high metabolic rates. They don't live very long. You understand me? And Blaha is like trying to promote you, like he's trying to promote shortgevity. He's trying to get you to increase your metabolic rate so you can die faster, age faster and die.
You know, lifting doesn't burn that many calories while you're doing it, but that burn later in the day does add up. People used to argue that epoch was really low, like, oh, it's only like 10 to 15% of the calories burned. And it doesn't seem to be the case. Any of us who've coached lifters who track their calories closely, we know that's BS. We know what happens to their NEAT. We know what happens to their epoch, all this stuff.
Epoch, yeah.
When they start carb loading. It gets ridiculous.
Carb loading? There you go. That's something artificial you're doing. Carb loading is something artificial. It's not based on a human's natural diet eating carbs.
Right? When you guys start taking your skinny undereaters and you start bulking them up, right? We've seen what happens to their maintenance calories. They get astronomically high. Even when they're doing no cardio. We know that anyone who's coached anyone knows this when you put them on really serious programming. We've all seen our kids who we coach. I call them.
I have a certificate, but I'm not a coach, man. I mean, I can coach people, but I would not consider myself a coach, but I have experience. I can coach. People want to call me coach, that's fine. I don't know. People call me coach. You know what I mean? Well, because you're kind of giving them guidance, I guess. You know, in my videos, I'm giving guidance to people. I hope they're listening. I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe they're not. Maybe they'll figure it out. Who knows? But yeah, I guess anybody out there with experience can be a coach. It depends on your experience. Some of your experiences could be it's fake, but you know, there's those who have real experiences that are real, not fake.
Yes, I call 22-year-olds kids, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Their maintenance calories go up 1,800 calories in a year. Okay? Their amount of calories they have to eat to even maintain weight go up like 1,800. That's like what a normal.
So let me get this straight. So they eat all these calories to maintain weight, and they need to eat more calories to maintain weight. But that has nothing to do with muscle. Okay.
Person is supposed to eat.
Yeah.
That's how much they add to their burn every day.
Okay.
So we have all that, but then it makes sense. They're gaining muscle.
Yeah.
and speeding up their metabolic rate. So what
they're gaining muscle and speeding up their metabolic rate. Yeah, I don't think so, but okay, whatever you say.
ends up happening is this data doesn't even surprise me at this point. That these women actually lost more body fat. Not just improved body composition more, they lost more total grams of body fat from lifting weights versus the same time investment of cardio. In addition to all the other benefits of the lifting. It's just fascinating. So it was the answer to this question is, lifting weights may be superior in general for this. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.